Hey everybody, I was just saying in a recent video how I am ready to get excited about eyeshadow palettes again, and I think Too Faced has given me that reason. When I found out that they were putting out a new fall palette, an apple themed palette, I thought, this is a run, don't walk situation for me. I went to their website, I ordered that thing. This was just last week, and then yesterday it arrived, and I'm super excited to use this one. It's called Appley in Love, yes. It does have a bit of a caramel apple scent, which I think they did a really good job on making that not smell too strong, but I can definitely sense the appley-ness in that. But when I got on Too Faced's website, I realized, oh, that's not the only new thing they're doing right now. They have a new Born This Way Soft Matte Foundation. They have a new pressed powder. There's also a lip color that kind of goes along with the palette. So I'm going to be using these new steps today. We're going to do the new complexion stuff, try the palette out for the first time, and just see how it goes. Also, there were two little samples in my box. One was a mini mascara and one was the hangover primer, the replenishing face primer. This has coconut water, probiotic blend. I've used this in the past, but it's been a long time, so I thought might as well try a Too Faced primer alongside the Too Faced foundation. So here we go with this. Does have that slight coconutty scent. And all I have on today is my skincare before starting this. And I'm just really excited. I know we had some new Sydney Grace eyeshadow palettes recently too, and I'm getting in that mood. I'm just eager to try these new palettes and really think about my eyeshadow looks. But before we get there, let's talk about this foundation. So this is the Born This Way Soft Matte. It says Oil Control Foundation, 24-hour wear. I'm wondering if this is like a replacement to their Born This Way matte formula foundation, which I love that stuff. The Born This Way matte really has tremendous staying power. So this I chose in the shade Light Beige. It says helps with oil control, weightless formula, 12-hour moisture as well. So it's an oil control claim, but also a moisture claim. This claims to be a weightless formula, non-creasing and non-caking for 24 hours and sweat and humidity resistant. What kind of warning are we under for the heat currently? I think it's like an excessive heat warning or something. Yes, through tonight. So this may be a good day to test this one out, but I thought, yeah, let's definitely get it and give it a go. We have a pump with the squeezy tube bottle. Got, I think, what amounts to a full pump, and what I immediately notice is the thinness here. This shade might be a little on the light side for me, but I don't want to mix anything in today because I really want to see what this formula is all about. But I pretty much think that's a full pump going on. And let's really look at what kind of coverage we're getting. It's looking like this may be approaching full coverage. That's definitely the look I'm getting here as I blend this out with a dense brush. See across the cheeks? The reason why I say approaching full coverage, I have a lot of like little freckles and I can see them for the most part being covered up by this. There's just a definite evening out to the skin. I am really into the way this looks across my skin, and actually it didn't turn out to be quite as light as I thought. I mean, I'm not saying it was oxidizing as I was blending it in, but I feel like it was able to blend in effectively. I maybe could have gone like a shade darker, but I don't think I actually would have wanted to go much darker than this. And for the most part, as time goes on, this is probably going to be perfect. I'm understanding the mattification of it all. Like if you look in close, you can see how across the face, the coverage level is really good, but yet the name is not matte, it's soft matte foundation. And I am well hydrated underneath, but not to a sticky level. And I think you can see that the foundation is providing just a little bit of like a natural glow. Like I love to look at the top of the cheek and see, is that giving like a natural skin finish kind of look, or is it just completely flat? And here I can see that little tiny bit of light catching ability. You know, definitely not a glowy foundation, but it's looking fairly natural on the surface of my skin for as much coverage as it's offering, which I would say again, strong medium, approaching full. I could have definitely used a little bit more than I did and probably gotten a totally full coverage look. What I find interesting is that in all the claims on the bottle, they've stayed away from really any kind of coverage talk. They're talking about it's a weightless formula, that it helps oil control, the non-creasing, they're talking long wear, they're talking moisture, also how weightless it is, but no real coverage discussion, even though this is a very strong coverage foundation. And since I have it, and I like I've been using it a lot lately. I've got my Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer. I'm going to go ahead and do this as part of the face routine. seen. This is the shade Cream Puff, and I'm just gonna do a couple of dots around here. I do love this concealer. I think it gives really beautiful coverage, but then it's also able to kind of be a retouching concealer and do a great job just going over any areas later on if need be. So I'm dabbing this in. I think I'm gonna bring in a smaller brush to really get it going around the nose and eyes. This is my Sephora 57. As you can see, the shade of this concealer is a little stepped up from the foundation, and it's giving me just that perfect level of added brightness to the under eye area, center of the face area. So I took a smaller brush to spread it out, and then I'm dabbing in with this. And in case you missed the last video, yes, I burned my knuckle on the oven, so that's where that's coming from. I tried to have a Band-Aid on it the other day, it just wouldn't stay on. I am so happy with this complexion look with the concealer on. Totally at a full coverage place now, but yet surface of the skin seems so skin-like. I'm really getting a good first impression from this. And then the next step would be to try out this new powder. So this is their Born This Way Soft Blur Flexible Finish Setting Powder. So they say this is a set, blot, and touch-up powder. It's a really slim, small compact here. It helps hide oily shine without feeling dry or heavy. They say it's a creamy powder formula that delivers a soft focus finish so lightweight, they'll think you were born this way. So I got the shade Light in this because I thought, you know, maybe an under eye setting option too. Really enjoy the thinness of this compact, and it's opening up with a magnetic closure. So we got pink on the back side, gold on the top. There's your little mirror. Seems like a real purse-friendly product, although you would have to bring along your own like application. This didn't even come with a puff. Just to touch the powder, yes, it does feel soft and smooth. I wasn't expecting it to be quite this creamy, seeing as it's not being marketed as a powder foundation. It's just being kind of like a setting blotting powder. I'm gonna take this nice little brush here from Profusion. It's the PD5 Flat Setting Powder brush, and it's just a nice shape and size. I'm gonna go into the powder and just use that to set my under eye. See what we get out of it. And the coverage was so full here already. I'm not thinking I'm gonna see like, oh, additional coverage created really from this, but I am immediately seeing more mattification there from the under eye area to around the nose. We can dab up in here. It's kind of blurring a few little fine lines, which we often see with a powder, you know, giving us more that dull skin effect. Really want to cover the whole T-zone with it, but we're pressing and patting in a really deliberate way in hopes of giving us the best staying power. So keeping it light, I don't feel like we totally dulled down the complexion with this powder because I'm still seeing that little cheek gleam that we're able to have. I wouldn't say my under eye looks completely dried out. I just took a light amount and was able to set it. And this really isn't, nor should it be, a full review on like this foundation and powder. Right now I'm able to sit here and say, yeah, it looks good, it did the job, but it's gonna take some use and probably some other product combos as well with these things to really figure them out and know how they're gonna be. Powder to me seems good, you know, but I'm not completely blown away, but I feel set without having put a lot on, so that's good. So at this point, I'm gonna skip ahead a few steps and then I'll be back to try out that eyeshadow palette. Here's what we're looking like with the face and the brows all done. What I went ahead and did, and it turns out it was mostly Too Faced stuff. I could have gone ahead and included it, but I thought let's just focus on the new in this video. But I did use this stick, the Melting and Bronzing Sculpting Stick in Chocolate Soufflé, a really easily blendable, soft, nice contouring stick. So I've got that around the hairline, hollows of the cheek area. For blush, I chose this one from Too Faced, the Cloud Crush in Velvet Crush. This is the first one of these that I ever had. I think the packaging is some of the prettiest blush packaging on the market, and it's giving me that soft, dusty rose cheek. I just wanted it to coordinate with whatever direction we went with this palette. And then I found this in my collection as well. This is the Moon Crush highlighter. I'm not sure if they're still selling this, but the shade is Shooting Star, and it's just a really classic highlighter, guys. It's just giving me a little sheen there on the top of the cheek, up around the forehead as well. Oh, I did set that bronzing stick because I thought, hold up, this is really, really creamy. I don't want this to negatively affect the staying power, so I set it with a little Hard Candy Instant Summer. And then on my brows, I used my e.l.f. brow pencil. Took me way too long because, like I said, thicker brow pencils take me a long time now. But e.l.f. brow pencil, and then NYX Control Freak Brow Gel, Milani eyeshadow primer, and now we are ready to jump jump into the Apple palette, which I absolutely love the exterior of this palette. It's fun, it's cute, but yet something about it's not totally goofball, you know? It's just really pretty. The way those apples are shaded on there, they just look so nice. And then the gold accents with the stems. This is the type of palette you really want to sit out. And again, it's called Appley in Love. The description says this juicy palette is packed with 18 super sweet shades inspired by the fresh colors of real apples. And by the way, apples are probably one of my favorite fruits. I've gotten really into Red Delicious apples lately. I'd been a Honeycrisp girl for months and months, if not years. I feel like that was my go-to apple. And then having Red Delicious, it reminded me more of the taste of apples that I had growing up. Anyways, must-have neutrals and pops of red, green, and warm caramel in a variety of finishes let you create and recreate every seasonal trend with a creamy blendable formula that smells like caramel apples. And you can really smell that appley sweetness in this palette. It's not overpowering. You do have to get your nose right in there and smell for it, but it's there. Too Faced is doing some things, you know, some color combos that we're not seeing left and right, and that, of course, is exciting to me. It's also exciting to me to see depth down here, so several ways to anchor looks. We've got the brightness of the greens, of course some red, but also some kind of like helper shades in here, like our mid-tone browns, like our pinks, some goldeny shades, like they said. Over in this corner, we've got some lighter colors. I've just done some quick, like sticking my finger in them types of swatches here, just to see if any of these shades gave off a real flake, and so far I'm not seeing that, which is really nice, that these shimmers appear to be smooth. And the mattes, I've always said for years here on my channel that Too Faced mattes are among some of the best to work with, and these seem highly pigmented. We're looking at that shade Candy Apple right there. I'm liking how that's looking like a true red and probably isn't going to go turning fuchsia on the eyes, as sometimes those deep colors do. And I just want you to know, whatever I do with this palette today is just like, it's a first try. I'm only going to be scratching the surface on what this palette will be capable of, because with this much variety, I can just tell at a glance there are many looks that this will be able to create. So this is just the first one. It's kind of exciting to do it together. So I want to start first with this shade here called Caramel Apple, right in the middle. I want to see how deep that shade is and if it's deep enough to provide a little crease contour. Man, those knuckles. Maybe I should start coming up with a good story about how I was in this crazy brawl or something. Everybody'd believe that, right? Yes, this is enough to create a little soft crease. I just love Too Faced mattes. They are always so creamy, so pigmented. As I put my brush into this, I'm experiencing the same kind of formula I've come to expect. It's not like it's completely breaking and crumbling under the pressure of my brush going into the pan, but it's soft enough to easily pick up. So that's what we're wanting. This is the type of shade, I'm going in for just a little more. You can use it and you can really let that fade up. I'm going to try to let that come up high, so color is kind of consuming most of that area between eye and brow. And then there'll be lighter shades in here. There's a really nice light matte that I could see myself using directly under the brow. But let this soft shade just really creep out there. Beautiful, nice and soft. And this is my Profusion crease brush, by the way, if I didn't say that. I'm going to go to Sweet on You, which is up here in the corner. That is your matte, kind of light creamy shade. Oh yeah, that's going to be a friend to all of these looks, I have a feeling, because even if you do want some shimmer up there, you could get it, but this is going to smooth and perfect those edges as it crosses over the edge of the last shade that was applied. Really nice. I am definitely going to put green in this look. I'm definitely going to put red in this look. I'm probably going to try to put them side by side. I'm a little scared maybe, but hey, why not? I like to see this color in the palette because that's more plummy, and I'm seeing a really pretty look just vertically right there if you wanted to go that direction, but I've got to see this Candy Apple color. This is a matte, and by the way, your mattes in this palette, I probably should have pointed that out. The cream, this kind of mustard shade, or maybe a yellow delicious kind of shade. This one called Core Values. Oh, that's smart. Pinky rose color, matte. Matte here, matte with what I just applied to the crease. And then Orchard Stroll is a little bit warmer, a little deeper, but matte as well. And then these three down the side are matte. But like I said, we just dipped into Candy Apple right there. because we just have to know. These are my shades. Like, I love a cranberry kind of reddish eye. So to see where they were going with this palette, I thought this is going to excite. So I'm just patting that on the outer part of my eyelid. I'm gonna flip my brush over so I can make sure to get some of it into my crease as well. And it's not looking fully blended, nor should it, because I will go in with another brush to do that in a sec. The patting process is going well. I'm really enjoying how I'm going into this shade, which is fairly intense, and it's giving me the intense pigment, but it's not kicking up really hardly any fallout. Caramel Apple gave me just a bit, but Candy Apple, it's being a nice, easy to control, intense color. Not seeing any dustiness coming from it. It's just pure pigment. It's translating well to the eye. And then I could come in with, let's say, Profusion Small Pointed Brush. And what might be up from that? Maybe I'll go into Appley in Love. This has some shimmer, but I'm not scared. And I can use that a little bit since it just seems somewhat lighter than the, what was that called? Candy Apple shade. I'm kind of swirling this around the crease. And what we're getting is a softening. We're getting that darker shade kind of working in. Wow, this is fun. Small circular motions. We're adding, yes, just a little additional color. We're talking like a boop into it and then swirling around the crease, letting this fun red tone come up, but nothing's looking like really wacky red. It's just the type of burgundy look I'd like to wear. And I want to perhaps reapply just a little more Candy Apple and make sure it's totally in that deepest part of the crease. And then I think we come inward with maybe a little bit of that green, maybe just a splash of it. Oh, Grow with Joe has a new video. My phone's like right down here. Okay, are we loving? I'm into that. There's a little more pink in this shade, like just as you blend it out, you can just see there's a little more of a like pinky undertone in it. And then this is more like warm red with Appley in Love. Let's see. I'm picturing Slice Slice Baby, this green, going mostly inner corner, coming up onto the lid just a little bit. So I want something to come in with just a little more. I'm thinking about Bite Me maybe. This shade right here, which has a little sheen. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, there's a little more to that than meets the eye. It's pinky with a golden shift. So let's try that. On application here, it's really showing its pinkiness, but in the light, like as I look on camera, I think you might be seeing the golden nature of it all. Just get that going in there. Let it just overlap what was on the outer corner. Such a nice, soft, pearly finish here with this shade. I say this all the time, but the palettes that get me the most excited are the palettes that make me feel like they're full of possibilities and like one use doesn't completely give me everything. I mean, even though there may be some nice, great basic palettes to have on hand where, yeah, they're gonna do one general look and that's that, and that's okay sometimes, but when we're talking excitement, this, you know, like I know there's gonna be so much more I can do with this. Gosh, even just looking in this corner here, like that's a look. That's a look. Just going pure green with it all. But here we are. We basically have a finished eye look, but I want to take this shade called Slice Slice Baby. It's a beautiful, very light minty green. Actually, maybe soft sage green, maybe I should say. I feel like there's just a hint of goldeniness, possibly. Going in there with this same small brush. And I want to just hit like a little splash around the inner corner with that, okay? I want it to get up on the lid. I want it to rise up there a little. Yeah, just like that. Just a little greenish pop. And then we could get much more intense with the green with the shade called Pick Me, which seems to have a satin finish. It's kind of a spring green. It's really pretty. I hope you can see the green, that it really does exist in this shade. It might just be looking light, but I definitely can tell that this is showing some light green. Oh, super fun. Really digging that. I mean, there's still room to play on the lower lash line. We could still have some fun there. I'm gonna take some of this So Snackable right here. This is our plummy color. And just kind of see how she does on here. I'm really excited to use that in future looks in more of a leading role, you know? Another reason why this is so exciting to me is that, you know, fall says depth in makeup to me. When we get toward fall time, I'm wanting the ability to go deep. I don't really care what the trend is. That's just what I like. I like a rich eye, and this is richness. And it's the opportunity for richness, not that you'd have to go dark every day you use this, because there's plenty of mid-tone action in there too. But there's just a little bit of that plum just coming down to the bottom, mainly on the outside, easing inward. I think we're at the point where I can stop this and put on some mascara, and then we'll test out that new lip product. Okay friends, here's where we're at with the eye look. All I did was put on mascara, top and bottom. On the top, I've got the Too Faced Better Than Sex Naturally version. I also got a little mini sample of this that came free with my order, but got that on the top, a little bit of Cali Ray Come Hell or High Water just on the outer bottom part. I just didn't want to overwhelm that area. I just love, as I was putting on the mascara, I was like, this looks so good on the inner corner. I love that little splash of the soft kind of spring green. So for the lips, I went ahead and I was thinking, man, I don't really need this lip product, but it was kind of the other thing that's meant to go along with the palette. So it's the Lip Injection Maximum Plump, so it's gonna hurt a little bit. Extra Strength Instant Long-Term Lip Plumper. The shade is called Caramel Apple. So I have not even opened this yet. Hopefully it's got a beautiful scent. Oh, it does. Wow, that's strong and very accurate. Really getting the sweetness, just the warmth of the caramel, but a little bit of that apple as well. Some of that tart sweetness is coming through. Okay, like to see that. I'm gonna swatch a little bit on my hand because I think I will probably get a lip liner involved in the lip look. Sorry, I've got an old swatch here that I was testing staying power on, seeing how long it lasted through the pool. And here's what this is looking like. It's picking up on the caramel idea. This does have shimmer in it. We're seeing that caramely color with a golden shimmer. And this would certainly give some color to the lips on its own, but I'm wanting to pair it with a lip liner. So I thought, what about Hard Candy Instapout in the shade Kiss and Tell? I kind of like that they made their lip shade going along with the eye palette to be a little bit earthy, because they probably realize there's so many directions that the eye palette could go. We don't need to necessarily be promoting like a red lip just because it's apple. So there's that shade, and then here's our lip plumper for on top. Pretty color, nice amount of shine, of course. These have a thin feel. It's not greasy, but it's like, as a gloss itself, this would be a very comfortable gloss to wear if it didn't, you know, give your lips that whole stingy, plumpy thing. But look, really pretty.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Biddy. Biddy, look at this palette. Apples.
Apple.
I think that's absolutely so cute.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, I'm feeling the sting now after about 15 to 20 seconds of having that on the lips. I always thought Lip Injection was one of the most painful plumping formulas to have on, and then I tried the new Polite Society brand, which is made by the creators of Too Faced, and that one is even more so. But they do plump. They do actually do some plumping. So if you're okay with a little pain, this does give a pretty caramely kind of neutral look to things. I love the pairing of this blush. I think that was a good choice. Any kind of dusty rose blush I think would pair nicely with this look. But overall, I think the eye look takes the cake. I love these tones. I'm really excited for more out of this palette. I was and continue to be very impressed with the look of the foundation. Just being able to wear something all over the skin that's giving that good of coverage, but then that skin-like surface look of your skin. I just feel like this was a pretty successful look. Okay, now they're feeling almost a little bit numb. Let's be honest, I'm not going to be reaching for this every day. Maybe occasionally, maybe when I want to experience that scent or have like the two going together, but I'm just not quite into that discomfort feel, you know? But yeah, two biggest thumbs up for me was this stuff. The new powder was nice, but so far it's not really setting itself apart in a major way from other powders that I have. So thank you all so much for tuning in for this video. This was a lot of fun. Love trying a new palette. Let me know your feedback in the comments section, and I will see you all again very soon. I love you. Bye.